of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. Mr. Mayor, are you proceeding with the invocation at this time?
Yes, I was going to ask Reverend McDowell if you'd say a word, please.
Let's bow our heads. Creator God, for your loving kindness, for your tender mercies, look graciously upon this gathering today. Touch each one of us individually and yet collectively. Let us feel the anointing of your presence in our lives. We ask it, we claim it, in your name, amen.
Amen.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, we would ask for you and council to adopt the agenda with the following amendments. Item number 1, we would like to move the first public input portion of our agenda to after the presentation. So simply moving the public input after we
Item
hear
5.
3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
And then in addition, Mr. Mayor, we need to add a resolution number R 2025-030 to this agenda, Jim Clyburn's world famous fish fry, to the resolution section of the agenda, and we can name that one 29A.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, so move.
Got a
Second.
motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussions, changes? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Yes, and if y'all will excuse me, I just want a point of personal privilege for a second. I want to acknowledge our city manager and her birthday today.
Yeah. Always get me somehow. Thank you.
We weren't going to let it go by without acknowledging it, for sure.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and
It's always
council.
great to celebrate your anniversary, right?
Of what, the 29th
29th
birthday? That's
birthday,
what you
yeah.
always say. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. We have the approval of minutes. Number 1, council is asked to approve the April 29th, 2025 budget workshop minutes and May 6th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor, so move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any comments, changes? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. We have, well, Mr. Mayor, I should have mentioned the number 2 as well, as it is an approval and presentation of an honorary street naming. Are you okay, Mr. Mayor, with moving forward with that one as well?
Yes, ma'am, and I was going to ask Ms. Herbert to move forth with this.
Oh, okay, sounds great. Item 2, Councilwoman Herbert, resolution number R 2025-022, approving the honorary naming of Coon Road and the 1500 block of Prescott Road as Ezekiel H. Tresvant Jr. Drive.
So moved. Second.
Second. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
And I'd like to invite the family members to come up and tell us a little bit about Mr. Tresvant. And make sure to introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Council. We are privileged to be before you. My name is Pastor Ezekiel H. Tresvant III. Oh, and happy birthday, or anniversary, whichever. I've been chosen to speak on behalf of our family. Again, my name is Pastor Ezekiel H. Tresvant III. My granddaddy's name was Ezekiel H. Tresvant. My daddy's name was Ezekiel H. Tresvant. My son's name is Ezekiel H. Tresvant. My grandson's name is Ezekiel H. Tresvant. From that, you can tell that we're very proud of the name and the history that goes along with the name. My father was a very wise man and a very loving man. So we appreciate you guys taking the time to recognize him. We appreciate my brother Bruce for taking the time to lead the effort. But most of all, we're appreciative to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because he was the one that gave us our father and led him in the things that he did for the city of Columbia. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if y'all, I just want to, thank you. Stay right there for a picture. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we recognize Pastor Neil, who's also in the building. And over the years, back when I was active on social media, had to correct me one time. I remember it to this day. So great seeing you, Pastor Neil.
Great to see him as well.
Do you want me to move it?
Madam City Manager, we're going to move to item 3 in the
Yes, sir.
presentations. Who's here for the Jewish American Heritage Month presentation? Is anybody here?
This is for the Jewish American Heritage Month proclamation, the Honorable Daniel J. Rickman, Mayor. Do we have someone here to receive the proclamation?
I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and read it into the record, and we'll make sure it gets to them. Since the arrival on American shores as early as the 16th century, Jewish immigrants and their descendants have played a vital role in shaping the United States, contributing to the nation's creation, growth, freedom, prosperity, and enduring strength. The biblical and historical journey of the Jewish people and the enduring values of the Jewish faith have served as powerful sources of inspiration for the founding principles of the United States, the Civil Rights Movement, America's leadership in advancing global freedom, and the nation's ongoing pursuit of justice and equality. Jewish Americans have made profound and lasting contributions to every aspect of American life, including the arts, sciences, business, law, education, public service, entertainment, and culinary traditions, enriching the cultural fabric of our nation and helping define what it's meant to be an American. For over 4 decades, presidents of the United States have formally recognized the invaluable contributions of Jewish Americans to our country, and since 2006, the month of May has been officially designated as Jewish American History Month through presidential proclamation and bipartisan congressional support. So therefore, I, Daniel J. Rickman, the mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, along with our fellow members of City Council, do here proclaim May 25th is Jewish American Month in the great city of Columbia, and we'll be presenting this to the community. Thank you all very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 4 is the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Business Day Proclamation, the Honorable Daniel J. Rickman, Mayor.
I am going to ask Dr. Bustles to present this
Awesome.
proclamation,
And if we
please.
could have representatives of Moda Enterprises come up to the podium, and we will read you all the proclamation. Thank you for being here. So in addition to it being Jewish Heritage Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is observed in the United States in the month of May and recognizes the contributions and influence of the history, culture, and achievements of within the United States. A record 22 million Asian Americans trace their roots to more than 20 countries in East and Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent, each with unique histories, cultures, languages, and other characteristics. As the first South Asian woman elected to this seat, this moment resonates deeply with me for us to have not one, but two proclamations in the month of May, because it stands as a testament to the progress that we've made in Columbia, South Carolina for a more inclusive future. Asian American-owned businesses are dynamic and a growing force in our state. Between 2002 and 2017, the number of Asian-owned businesses in South Carolina surged by over 180%. These enterprises span diverse sectors from technology and healthcare to retail and hospitality. Beyond economic impact, what I think is especially really important to share is that many Asian American entrepreneurs have chosen to establish their business in underserved areas, including food deserts. By doing so, they not only provide essential goods and services, but also foster community development and resilience. To all of those that have left their homelands, bringing them with their rich traditions, unwavering determination, and entrepreneurial spirit, thank you. And specifically to Moda Enterprises and Moda Cross-Linking Business Academy, who is celebrating AAPI and their contributions that they have made to the city of Columbia, and recognizing all of these incredible individual accomplishments. The city certainly stands beside you and embraces the rich cultural heritage and business growth of the AAPI community here in Columbia. So now, therefore, on behalf of Mayor Rickaman and my colleagues on City Council, we do hereby recognize May 27th, 2025 as the 5th annual Asian American and Pacific Islanders Business Day. Thank you all for being here. Please, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, council members, thank you, mayor, and thanks for everybody here today. It is a very amazing day, and I stand here. Oh, by the way, my name is Lin Wang. I live in Lexington, not so far from here, and I feel so proud today. So this is for the recognition of our community, AAPI, for our culture and then contribution, and we stand for and then this amazing city that we call home for many years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also, thanks for Motor Enterprises.
I got it. Madam City Manager, we're getting to a really great part. We always like this to celebrate
Yes.
our public works folks. I'd like to write Robert Anderson and his whole team up front. A lot of things couldn't happen without this team and what they do day in and day out to take care of our community, and they serve us very well. And I know Robert wants to share some information. So Robert, before we do the declaration, we'd love for you to come on up.
So we're not getting off with just that, trust me. So I want to thank the Public Information Department for putting that together and really working with our staff on doing that. I want to thank the mayor, the council, the city manager, once again for helping us celebrate Public Works Week. And a shout out to our Public Works partners, engineering, water, wastewater, fleet, Parks and Rec, for celebrating with us. We're all part of the Public Works family. What a great crowd here today to celebrate Public Works Week. So for our presentation today, we want to talk about cheerleaders. And cheerleaders are found everywhere we go. And I know everybody knows that. And we're needed throughout every organization. They can vary in levels in support. They can encourage others on accomplishments, motivation, abilities, and can be given at any level of the operation during any time of the year. So we all think cheerleaders are a great thing. So I brought a few cheerleaders along today. So I think you'll figure this out very quickly. If you can help participate, we will try to get through our presentation. So first of all, if you'll give me a C. Yeah. So Columbia City Manager and Council, thank you for what you do each day for our city, and especially our Public Works Department, rolling out a new logo this year, changing our city's branding. Like changing a logo, changing and challenging is what Public Works does. Remember this year, Wood Creek Farms road paving, Calhoun Street bike lanes, our grants, a statue, and how about a Hurricane Helene blowing through and disrupting our city? With that, if you could give me an O. Over and over again, solid waste is out collecting the garbage, trash, and recycling each day, no matter what the weather, including today. How about the special efforts with our crews cleaning up the hospitality districts at night while everybody sleeps, or our litter collections and our street sweeping operations? Who else in the city visits our residents every week? And the last survey provided that I remember was the #1 service in the city of Columbia. So with that, if somebody would give me an L. Lights are out and the traffic is stalled. You can always reach our traffic engineering division who can assist. Talk about a division that is everywhere. Look at the decorative lights, the holiday decorations, the traffic signals, the street lights, the pavement markings, and yes, those little pesky four-way stops that are all over town. So with that, if somebody could give me a U. Upon looking around our city, you've noticed the planters around City Hall. And with the colorful annuals, what about the medians throughout our city? How about the newly planted trees in our neighborhood? Forestry and beautification focuses their opportunities on enhancing the appearance of our city and all to enjoy. What about a quick turnaround for the beautification on Senate Street in Lincoln for the Don Staley unveiling? That was quick, Brian. So how about an M? So move over and slow down. As you see the street division working within the right-of-ways of the city, as they are always repairing potholes, utility cuts, storm drains, sidewalk work, and many other projects throughout the year. What a lot of people don't know is, what about all the barricades they deliver for special events? Thanks, Harold. So, and anyone that gets their share of special opportunities, and Jerry, I know you guys get your share of them. So how about a B? So Bloomberg Grants for our Sustainability Office has given the opportunity for several individuals and organizations to develop new sustainable programs. Our Sustainability Office has many tasks to include hosting the bi-weekly CPAC meetings and becoming the first and only city in South Carolina to be Gold LEED certified. So how about an I? So imagine all adoptable animals getting a forever home. Our Animal Control Division is working each day towards this goal with new enrichment programs. Currently has a live release rate of 83%. Why not come on down to the shelter this week, see what our talented staff can help you with adopting. I found out this weekend the doggy day out is a great thing. So, and to wrap up, what about an A? So as always, Public Works is everywhere you look and in places you never see. This year's Public Works Week motto is people, purpose, and presence. We want to take this opportunity to thank our people and the Public Works for what they do each day. Their purpose is to provide a safe, clean, and beautiful city for all to appreciate and enjoy. Our Public Works presence is never ending, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where often we are not seen but remembered. So with that, what does that spell? So, and that spells Columbia, a great city where you can truly live, work, and play. So, happy Public Works Week.
Mr. Mayor, question for Mr. Anderson.
Oh, Lord.
Did you write that?
I did.
Wow,
With Sarah's help and Samantha's help Monday morning.
pretty good, pretty good.
I'm gonna be
That's
an
it.
author, my next author.
Next time you have to
We wrote it in
dance,
about an hour and a
Robert.
half, so it was a great deal.
Next year, we're only giving you cola.
Do what, sir?
Next year, it's only cola.
Thank you. We do have our cola shirts on, by the way.
So proud of our Public Works team. Many of the leadership here and not here, always working hard every day in the field and otherwise. Just couldn't say enough about that team. So thank you, Robert, and the entire Public Works staff. Mr. Mayor, at this point, we can move back to public input.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that we have 3 minutes for everyone. We want to make sure we get to hear from everyone. So we're going to go and spend the time now hearing from everybody who wants to speak on the issues that are on the agenda at this time. And then at the end, if there's folks who want to talk on another subject, are welcome to at that point. With that, also want to take a minute to, every once in a while, sometimes we sometimes let emotions get ahead of us and we carry it into another conversation. And I had a conversation with somebody today and I just felt like I needed to say something publicly that it wasn't as a compassionate and good conversation like we normally have with people. And part of it is I think everybody was elevated, and I want to take responsibility for mine because I have a great deal of respect for every citizen in our community, and sometimes we don't agree on things, and sometimes we do. But I let another issue, which is something I work very hard not to do, carry into another conversation. So I'm going to be reaching out to this person tomorrow, but I wanted to acknowledge it so that I could move on with a clean slate into the next portion of this evening. And with that, Madam Clerk, could you start? Let me remind everybody, when you come to the mic, please give us your name and where you live for the record. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I will reiterate that individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address City Council about items on the agenda during this public input period. Items requiring a public hearing cannot be addressed at this time. And Mr. Mayor, I'll start the public input at the request of Senator Tamika Isaac Devine. I think she had shared correspondence with you all, and she reached out asking that it be read as well during public input. Is that okay, Mr. Mayor? Good morning, Mayor and members of council. I am sorry I cannot make your meeting today due to a prior commitment, but I wanted to take a moment to reach out as someone who respects and appreciates the work you do and considers you friends and trusted partners. I know you're facing a tough decision today, and I don't take that lightly. We've worked together on so many important issues for our community, and I know your hearts are always in the right place. That's why I felt compelled to share my perspective for whatever it's worth as you consider the vote on whether to repeal the city's ban on conversion therapy. As you know, I proudly supported that ordinance when it passed. It was a bold and compassionate stand for our LGBTQ plus youth, many of whom don't have anyone else fighting for them. The idea of now repealing it under pressure from the state troubles me deeply, especially because I don't believe the budget proviso forcing this issue is even legally enforceable. And this is probably just the beginning. What happens when the state wants local governments like Columbia, who have acted on issues like hate crimes and gun safety, to repeal those ordinances too? Columbia has always been a leader, progressive when it matters most, unafraid to set the standard even when it's uncomfortable. That's part of what made me so proud to be a member of council and to now represent this community at the State House. I know the pressure is real, but so is the importance of staying true to who we are as a city. And I hope you'll continue to lead with courage even when it's hard. Please know I'll continue doing my part to fight this kind of overreach at the state level, and I'll always have your back. Senator Tamika Isaac Devine. And with that, Mr. Mayor, we'll continue with public input. Again, 3 minutes allotted for individuals who'd like to speak.
And forgive me if I mispronounce anyone's name. First on the list here, I have Zach Spiels. If I said that correctly? Speaks. Pretty close. Okay.
Council members, good afternoon. It's good to see you all. Let's see. To the members of this council, both current and former, who have already spoken out against the damage that repealing this ban would do to our city and our local government, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for speaking out on this issue. As former council member and now Senator Devine said in her statement, the American Medical Association and American Psychological Association have both condemned the practice as is malicious in nature and ineffective in practice. As Councilman Bailey said, the Attorney General's attempt to strong-arm this council and therefore the city into making this decision fundamentally goes against the precedent. I come out to all of you today as a survivor of conversion therapy. I grew up in Charleston. My family attended a megachurch in that city, whose name I will omit here, but I will say they have multiple campuses across the state and in the city. I went to the church starting in elementary school all the way through high school. Before the abuse, I was in youth group for high schoolers. I was leading youth group for middle schoolers. I was in worship band, and I was in love with God and all of his glory. It is important to note that the church on its face is accepting safe haven for all of those in all walks of life, which they would later use as a weapon against their own flock. When the church found out I was gay, my youth pastors called me to ask my mother and I to come in and if we would speak about my leadership position in the church, to which we gleefully agreed. They asked me to bring my mother into this meeting and not my father. At the time, he was preparing to deploy to Afghanistan. During this meeting, the head pastor of the church tried to out me to my own mother, which of course would have been horrible had I not done so myself the week prior. He, as well as two of my youth pastors, told me my mother that if we did not go through with this therapy, they would be excommunicating me and my family from the church, and tell my father why. Not only was this a direct threat to me and my safety, but to my own family and their ability to worship where they call home. So, under coercion and distress, we agreed to go through with it. Coercion is not consent. At the time, I was 17, a child. During my abuse, they likened my attraction to men as an addiction and a disease, something that can be treated through prayer and abstinence. They also, on more than one occasion, said that God would prefer me to be a dead gay virgin than live my life full of sin as a gay man. This went on for over 7 months. We would meet weekly to discuss how best to appease God with my mind, body, and spirit. This led to my suicide attempt in 2016. As you can see by my being here and the ring on my finger and my husband in the audience, not only did the conversion fail, but so did my suicide attempt. But that did not stop the church from trying to convince me otherwise. I'm not the only victim of the church, but I am one of the lucky ones who survived. To repeal this ban is to condone child abuse. It is to say that some children are worth providing for and protecting, and others are not worthy of that same love and protection. Those are my 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dylan Gunnels.
Good afternoon. My name is Dylan Gunnels. I serve as president of South Carolina Pride, as well as the founder of the Agape Table. But I'm not here to talk about any of that. I know all of you in some capacity. I'm sure you roll your eyes sometimes when you get that email or that phone call from me, but I appreciate you always taking it. I worked with some of you when we passed this ordinance back in 2021. Some of you I had difficult conversations with, but we still worked together. And so I'm here to reiterate that today, to do nothing more than to share my story, to talk about human lives, and the reason why all of these people chose to be here today. This book lives in the closet, literally. This was my homework at 15 and 16 years old when I went through conversion therapy. Imagine the hope that I had for a book that said, you don't have to be gay. Because being gay meant that I was ostracized from my family. I was ostracized from my friends and my opportunities. I was ostracized from the only work I ever knew and felt called to, which was the church. I was also told that it meant I would go to hell. And so imagine the hope that we feel when we are encountered with these false premises of therapy that are gonna fix us and make us better and heal us and say, you don't have to be that way. But it was all a lie. And today I stand before you telling you that that therapy did nothing for me. All it did was harm me. And years later now, somebody said it to me last week when I was at a retreat with a group of pastors, because by the way, I'm a pastor today, in a loving relationship with my male partner and doing all the work that I dreamt of doing back then. But somebody at the retreat told me this week, wow, it seems like your work in the church today is simultaneously healing the harm that you endured for so long. So please hear me today when I tell you, I'm not here to condemn you. I'm not here to discredit the difficult decision that each of you are facing or the realities that none of you asked to make this decision. I recognize the pressure that the state is putting upon you. But I look at each of you as human beings with compassion and with dignity and asking you, imploring you and pleading you to please do the right thing. This is about the message and the statement that you send to the rest of the country who's considering Colombia to be their next home as to whether or not this is the place for them. I want to also say something I wish I didn't have to say, but I don't want to remain fearful of our support or our funding for coming forth and saying things like this. So let me say on the public record, thank you for continuing to support the work of SC Pride in our community. But please don't stop there. That's not enough. Thank you so much.
Matthew Butler. Mr. Matthew Butler.
Y'all, we have 3 pages, so I'm all about applauding, but let's make it a little shorter so we can get through make sure we get everybody heard this evening. Thank you.
Afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Matthew Butler, advocacy strategist with ACLU of South Carolina and board president of the Harriet Hancock Center. 3 years ago, Columbia drew a line, not between faith and government, not between left and right, but between healing and harm. With Ordinance 2021, you made it clear licensed professionals must not practice discredited therapies that shame LGBTQ youth and put their mental health at risk. Earlier this month, we spoke. We submitted letters. We delivered petitions. We asked you to stand by your own ordinance, to stand by the children this law was written to protect. But instead of listening to your constituents, some members of this body chose to entertain the demands of men whose ambitions far exceed their understanding. We are not here tonight because Columbia asked for this. We are here because Attorney General Alan Wilson and Senator Josh Kimbrell insisted on it. The AG's letter did not reveal new law. It revealed a very old tactic: threaten, distort, posture. But the law is not on his side, only his ego. And it's a dangerous thing when the top law enforcement officer of this state uses the power of his office not to protect the public, but to bully cities into submission for political sport. Let me respond directly to the claim that this ordinance is an affront to the First Amendment or that it criminalizes parents or counselors for living out their faith. This is simply false. No pastor is punished under this law. No parent is prosecuted. No church is silenced. And I'm very sorry for what y'all went through, but this does not address what those churches did to these young men. What this ordinance does clearly and constitutionally is prohibit licensed mental health providers from using state-recognized credentials to inflict psychological harm on children in the name of treatment. It is not censorship to require licensed therapists to conform to professional standards. It is not persecution to stop a state-licensed counselor from doing harm to children. It is not tyranny to protect children from trauma disguised as therapy. Senator Kimbrell calls this a radical view of gender. But what's radical is suggesting that the government must force cities to allow dangerous, debunked practices just because someone cloaks them in religion. What's radical is undermining local authority to score political points at the expense of vulnerable youth. This ordinance is not unlawful. It is simply inconvenient to men who confuse bluster with leadership and mistake a courtroom threat and a budget rider for divine authority. This is about local control and whether Columbia will govern itself or allow its conscience to be outsourced to political opportunists with press releases in hand. And it's about moral courage. We know what the budget proviso threatens. We know what the Attorney General implies. But threats only work if you surrender to them. Let me say it plainly. The dignity of LGBTQ youth is not a bargaining chip. Their joy, their safety, their lives are not up for sale. Some will call repeal a compromise, but there's no compromise between protecting children and abandoning them. There is only a choice, and tonight you must choose. Do not let fear dictate policy. Do not let ambition rewrite the law. Do not let shame of this moment be written by those who never cared for its consequences. Reject the repeal.
Elizabeth Combs. Elizabeth Combs.
Holmes, Ms. Holmes? Elizabeth Holmes, was that correct?
Combs.
Holmes, I'm sorry.
For
I
the
thought
C.
she was Holmes. All right, let's go to the next speaker.
McCray Gain.
Thank you, Council. I'm McCray Game. I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Today I'm 56 years old. I've been out now for 5 years, but I took a little 30-year jaunt into conversion therapy. As 19 to 21-year-old, I was exploring my sexuality and accepting my gayness until family pressures and culture dictated otherwise, and ended up in 8 years of conversion therapy as a client, and drank the Kool-Aid so much I started my own organization that was Truth Ministry, then ended up being Hope for Wholeness, one of the largest we'll call ex-gay ministries in the world. But one thing I never did with my clients is I never promised them that their attractions were going to change, because mine never had. I had married, had 2 children, which I do not regret, but the issue took such a personal toll on me that I ended up having 4 nervous breakdowns. I was always very honest. It was the reason why I was fired from my organization. I wrote a book called The Transparent Life, where I talked about my ongoing same-sex attractions. My first assistant drove his car through a home as he was supposed to go out with a girl at night. He was so torn over the issue because he was obviously homosexual. And later, after I got fired, another assistant ended up committing suicide and being successful on that. I worked with a number of teenagers, a lot of parents pressuring their teenagers. And fortunately, I was not of the type that was really on the parent side, even though people hated me and thought that's what I was doing. I was more really advocating for the teenager. Conversion therapy, or whatever you want to call it, is harmful for anyone. I was able to allow all the angst about my sexuality to go to rest once I accepted it. And I would encourage you to not consider repealing this ban.
Thank you for being here.
Abigail Estes. Abigail Estes.
Is Abigail here? Abigail? We'll go to the next.
Michael Watson.
Hi, I'm, excuse me. Hi, I'm Michael Watson. I'm here as a Columbia resident to urge you to keep Ordinance 2021-021 in place. I commend you for implementing this ordinance protecting LGBTQ youth and their families from discredited and harmful practices like conversion therapy. As stated before here, every major medical and psychological association opposes conversion therapy because it's ineffective at changing someone's orientation or their gender identity. It simply does not work. What it does is change temporary behavior. I want to take a little bit different approach on this because it's something I haven't heard yet, and I think it will be a little bit enlightening. I think that the first victim of conversion therapy is the family, the parents, because the family is sold a bill of goods. It simply is not true. And they're in a desperate situation, and someone's offering them, I have the answer for you. And what they're offering them is something that's disproven, but they're invested in it. And what happens from that point will be the investment in trying to get the child to change something he can't change or she can't change. Where that leads is the child is having to prove, we're talking about someone under the age of 18, having to prove that they've changed something they can't do. And when it's discovered by the family, because the family will end up having to be the ones to police this. Once the therapy sessions are done, or during the therapy sessions, or whatever, the family will have to police this. It'll be the family against the child. It creates a barrier between family and child. And the child has to pretend he's somebody he's not, or she's somebody she's not. Now, when that fails, what happens most of the time, and it will fail, but most of the time, the parents or the family, believing what they were told about being able to change a child, will blame the child because the child did not do enough to change. This is how you end up with children homeless. This is how you end up with suicidal children. You cannot do this to children. You're protecting children by keeping this ordinance in place, and above that, you're protecting family units. So I ask that you please not repeal this so that you can protect these families from something that's simply just not possible. It's not true. Don't make them go through this. Protect Columbia's families, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Isu Mendel. Isu Mendel.
Do y'all want to speak
Elizabeth
together?
Mendel was the next one.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Isabel Mandel, and my mother is also here, so I wasn't sure which one of us were up. But as I noted, my name is Dr. Isabel Mandel. I do want to tell you a little bit about my qualifications to speak on this. I am a past president of the South Carolina Psychological Association. I'm a past president of the South Carolina Association of Professional Psychologists. I was a long-term member of the licensing board for the state of South Carolina for psychologists, vice chair of that board. One of the duties of that board is to do the licensing examinations for incoming psychologists. So we evaluate people's resumes, and we are the ones that do the oral examination to determine if someone is going to be appropriate to be licensed in the state of South Carolina. The goal of that board is to protect the public. And in my belief, a ban on conversion therapy in this city protects the public, and most particularly children. If an adult would like to do that, that is an adult purview. But a part of the responsibility of the government is to protect children from harm. And this is a harmful practice. I will not call it therapy because it is not therapy. The goal of therapy is to help and support and provide encouragement and growth. And what this does provides none of that. It provides harm. It ends in suicide. It ends in suicide attempts. It ends in long-term trauma. These are not small consequences. This is not a benign, neutral practice. This is damaging and it is harmful. I am aware of this. I would hope that you would stipulate that I have some level of expertise to address this. Please know that if you vote to repeal this ban, you are supporting a harmful practice. And again, harm to children. That is what this vote is about. And I understand that it has become a political football. I understand that there is pressure being put on you, but this is a line. What are you going to do? What is your moral and ethical responsibility? I am aware that that is a difficult position to be in, but I encourage you to make a choice that protects children. That's all. I have one other thing, because I don't know if this is going to be done, but I would ask the people who are here that are asking for this ban not to be repealed and support LGBTQ children to stand up, please, so I can see who all is here for this. Thank you. That's all.
Dr. Mandel. Dr. Mandel, yes, ma'am. Could you state your address? I'm sorry. Thank you.
I live downtown. I live in Old Shandon.
Okay. We asked for at the beginning, the name and address has to be documented, but thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have Richard McCain.
Mr. Mayor and distinguished city council members, administrators, my name is Dr. Richard McCain. I live at 14 Huspaw Lane near Fort Jackson. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I've practiced here in Columbia for 41 years. I wonder if today we can disagree without being disagreeable. And I'd like to share biological science, not political science. I serve as state chairman of the American Academy of Medical Ethics. We're a nationwide organization of doctors that research and speak on bioethical issues. Myself, I've done research at MUSC and at the Queen Square Institute of Neurology in London, England. There obviously are well-meaning people on both sides of this issue. There is a lot of pain on both sides of this issue. Proposed bans on therapy are not rooted in science. They're rooted in 4 myths. First, that sexual orientation and gender dysphoria are fixed inborn traits like race. Secondly, that homosexual attractions and gender dysphoria experienced by minors are enduring. That is not true. Thirdly, that these behaviors carry no increased health risk. They do. And that scientific research proves that psychotherapy to explore sexual attractions and gender identity is universally harmful. I would say conversion therapy is no longer really practiced by most of the board-certified psychologists. Homosexuality is not like race. Identical twins share the same genetic makeup. They're exposed to the same prenatal hormones. If homosexuality were genetic like race or determined by prenatal hormones alone, then identical twins would have the same sexual orientation 100% of the time. Instead, at most, identical twins are both homosexual only 20% of the time. Dr. Francis Collins, former director of the Human Genome Project, summed it up best when he wrote, "Sexual orientation is not hardwired by DNA." This means that at least 80% of what causes homosexuality in one identical twin is postnatal and rooted in non-shared experiences. The Association of Gay and Lesbian Psychiatrists acknowledge that some people believe that sexual orientation is innate and fixed. However, sexual orientation develops across a person's lifetime. Homosexual attractions in minors are more fluid than fixed. The American Psychological Association handbook acknowledges that adolescence is well recognized by its sexual fluidity and instability of homosexual attractions. 75% of adolescents who had some initial homosexual attraction between 17 and 21 of age changed to experience heterosexual attraction only. This is not repealing this bill is the right thing to do to protect those 80 or 85% of adolescents that may very well change their sexual orientation. Thank you. I would also say that Christian health care professionals must care for their gay and lesbian patients in a non-judgmental and compassionate manner. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
PJ Whitehurst. PJ Whitehurst. Oh.
Make sure Dr. Mendel is up next, please.
I'm PJ Whitehurst, community health worker with Reformation Lutheran Church. That's 1118 Union Street, Columbia.
Whitehurst, correct?
Whitehurst, yes, sir. Well, good afternoon. It's good to see everybody here today. As I'm here today, you've heard many stories, many statistics, and many people who are already terrified at the continued attacks on our communities. We're people just like you. The baseless accusation that this ban is an attack on religious freedom is ridiculous. Every parent has the right when they have children to raise their children however they want in their own households. No one is taking away from what parents tell their children in their households. Now, will you hurt children even more? Yes, you will. Sometimes it can be a phase, but majority of the time it is not. And for the person that said that there's no proof, your proof is right here. Your proof is all around this building right here. There is much proof that shows that this is a harmful practice. What you cannot do is send your child away or to therapy where they are abused and neglected for who they are. I'm not just talking about physical abuse. I'm talking about emotional, psychological, spiritual, mental, etc. All are accounts of abuse. I'm a prime example, like many others here, where religion was shoved down my throat, and that it does not matter how you grow up. It does not change who you are. And the craziest part is I'm still a person of faith, but I'm a person of faith who believes in justice for all. We did the Pledge of Allegiance earlier. We talked about liberty and justice for all. But because that is what Jesus would have done. Convergent practices are abuse. It is not therapy. From the Trevor Project, conversion therapy has not been proven to change a person's sexual orientation by any credible scientific study. In fact, Dr. Robert Spitzer, whose research had previously been misused to support conversion therapy, has retracted his original claim, stating that all data regarding conversion therapy has been misinterpreted and that there is no conclusive evidence that it works. A study published in 2002 found that 88% of participants in conversion therapy failed to achieve a sustained change in their sexual behavior, with only 3% reporting becoming heterosexual. Conversion therapy is not condoned by the American Psychological Association, American Psychiatric Association, the American School Counselor Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Medical Association. The American Psychological Association, quotes, advises parents, guardians, young people, and their family to avoid sexual orientation changes efforts that portray homosexuality as a mental illness or developmental disorder. I could sit here and recount story after story from the kids that I've served. My father used to beat the crap out of me, made me bloody because he did not want me to be a girl. He thought he could beat it out of me. I came out to my grandmother and she kicked me out of her home, and I was just 16 years old. So I started walking down the street and I found the QT gas station and said that I needed a safe place. My foster dad raped me for who I was when I was 5 years old, and now he is just being brought to justice. There's so many stories that I could say here today, but if this ban is repealed, children will be raped, children will be beaten, children will be sexually assaulted, and children will be put at harm. Please do not repeal this ban. We need this ban in place. Thank you.
We had originally called the other Dr. Mandel. Did you want to speak?
Hi, I'm Betty Mandel, and I live in Columbia. And I was a clinical psychologist for about 40 years. And the whole business of calling conversion therapy is wrong. Therapy is directed toward helping people, toward helping them make decisions that are right for them. And to call conversion therapy is wrong. It is not a therapy that helps people. It's a therapy that harms people. So I do want this ban to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Mandel.
Justice Hills.
Could you say that name again? I'm sorry.
Justice Hills.
Pardon me, y'all. I apologize.
No worries.
I would say good afternoon to everyone in the City Council, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Justice Hills. I live at 7030 Frandale Avenue, right behind the Columbia Mall. And I'm here to say something simple. Don't repeal this ban on conversion therapy. Not now, not ever. We passed this ordinance around 3-4 years ago because we as a city believed in protecting children. Because this city has the courage to say harming LGBTQ plus youth under the guise of therapy is not only dangerous, but it's evil. Now the state is trying to force our hand, holding $10,000 hostage unless we repeal such an ordinance. Let this be clear and honest with ourselves. This is not about policy, it's about power. It's about the state attacking municipal sovereignty. The same legislator that passed the law in 2022, whining about federal overreach, is now turning around doing the exact same thing to us. They call it federal tyranny when Washington holds back funding or anything, but when they do it, just business as usual. Well, if they want to take the $10 million, maybe we should let them take it. I know that sounds a little crazy, but maybe we as a community should reject their proposal altogether. We should come to each other, neighbor as neighbor, find a solution to get that $10 million ourselves. Because we sure can, as much as we spend on Starbucks, me alone. We need to come together because our integrity is worth more than a blank check with strings that lead straight to child abuse, as the testimonies have previously accounted for. And let's talk about what's really happening in South Carolina. There's no statewide ban on conversion therapy, even though 23 other states have it, allowing networks to grow and fester unchecked within the state. It's not a coincidence, it is coordinated effort. It's about control, it's about forcing kids to be psychologically tortured to appease a political agenda. The city must decide, do we follow the path of moral clarity or do we bow to blackmail? You already know what's right, council members. Y'all know it in your heart. You already voted for what was right years ago. Do not let them bully the city into betrayal. Stand tall, keep the ban. Show to the state that Colombia cannot be bought and our children cannot be sacrificed. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
We have Enid Campbell.
Good afternoon, honorable committee members. My name is Enid Campbell. I live in the Earlwood area. I don't want to give the rest of my address because I'm a little worried about some of the individuals here. First off, I want to congratulate this lady here for her birthday, 25, I assume. Is that right? Okay. I am also having a bit of a celebration because yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of me starting gender affirming care. For those who don't know, that's hormone treatment. Before I came out, before I started treatment, my life was a cacophony of pain and hopelessness. And I know a lot of other people that have felt very similarly. I am the daughter of a pastor. I sought out all sorts of religious options, faced incredible verbal and all forms of abuse from people who said that they were loving me, who they were trying to encourage me to embrace my natural self. And because I lived in so much fear of retribution, and because so many people in the state are more worried about being embarrassed by their queer children than they are about their children thriving, I suffered 25 years of that repression, that doubt, and that loss that I'll never get back. I'm very happily here in front of you now as an out trans woman. That's why I'm here to support this ban on conversion therapy. It's critical because, as was mentioned before, this is not therapy. This is abuse. And I think it's important to harken back to why conversion therapy was banned in the first place. And that is because historically it has been used as a systemic way to absolutely abuse queer children, physically, mentally, socially, in every way possible. We have instances of corrective rape, electroshock therapy, ammonia exposure, solitary confinement, brutal physical and psychological punishments, exorcisms, and all sorts of nonsense that has been conducted on these children. Conversion therapy is not, first off, it doesn't work. We know this. The only possible outcome that people here supporting the ban on conversion therapy being repealed is that the individual is so hollowed out from the abuse and the trauma that they suffer in these instances that they have no ability to express themselves, that they have no ability to express their gender identity or their sexual identity. That is their greatest hope. And they would rather, as mentioned before, have a kid who was quiet, a shell of themselves, or even dead, than have someone who is queer and alive. And that's a tragedy. And that is anti-South Carolinian. I was born and raised in this state, and we love people here, and we take care of people here. And we have I know Jesus Christ has been used in the name of love, and I know Jesus Christ has been used in the name of abuse. And I don't think he would want to be used in the name of abuse. There are people here today that want that to happen because they're ashamed of queerness. They think it's some degeneracy, and we know that that's not the case. We see the happy lives of the people here who are having to relive some of the worst memories of their lives to come out here and support something that we shouldn't even be discussing. It's barbarous, it's treacherous to South Carolinians, and it's disastrous for our youth. Please do not repeal this. Thank you.
Kim Phelps. The name was Kim Phelps.
Kim Phelps, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have that correct, Kim Phelps?
It's felt.
Felt?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I must not have printed very well today. I am the annoying person that gave you a handout of things paper clipped together. And yes, they're just position papers on agencies that deal with children, just for your reference. I am also here in support of maintaining the ban. Having children is like planting a garden. Sometimes you know what you're getting, you know what you're planting. Sometimes you get surprises. Sometimes you don't really know how to grow what comes up in your garden. And sometimes you need help for that. And looking for help can be scary. Maybe you're not sure where to go. Maybe you're not sure who can help you. One thing is certain though, if you had a tomato planted and then you got a cucumber, you don't need help changing your cucumber to a tomato. You just need help growing a cucumber. You need to get the help that fits your situation. Having this kind of surprise in your garden or in your house can be hard. You might wish that things were different. But in the end, we need to help grow what cropped up. We repeatedly tell our children, if we repeatedly tell our children that they are not what we wanted or not what we expected, how will they learn to love who they are? Too many of these kids don't or can't grow, or worse, they die in the garden. Ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with a population of which 37% or so contemplate suicide. And unfortunately, we are living in a time that requires courage. So I hope you have some. Thank you.
I'm going to read this name and I'm going to say the address because there are two people with the same name.
Oh, okay.
Can I have Julia Smith from the Harriet Hancock Center, please?
Hello, my name is Julia Smith, and I'm the Advocacy Coordinator at the Harriet Hancock Center, which resides in District 3. During the last City Council meeting, our Executive Director gave you each a letter with 429 signatures urging you to stand strong and maintain the current Ordinance 2021-021. The Harriet Hancock Center has been at 1108 Woodrow Street since 1994. In our over 30-year history, we've connected with thousands of individuals from the LGBTQ community as well as allies. Last year alone, we supported over 1,500 individuals through peer support, social activities, and resource referrals. We've heard personal stories about how much impact we've made to South Carolinians, not just those living in Columbia, through our work at the AHC. This is because while we say we serve the Midlands, we have individuals travel from all corners of the state, including Charleston, Dorchester, Lawrence, Oconee, and Pickens counties, and even as far as Augusta and Charlotte. We maintain a community resource guide that highlights LGBTQ+ affirming providers, including medical, emotional, and mental health, as well as other allied care and services. To be on our list, we ask providers about their qualifications, including licensure, as well as confirming their support of the whole LGBTQ community. Many of the providers on our resource guide are in Columbia, but they don't just work and care for those living in the city. They have clients who travel hours to see them or connect with them virtually. In the past month, our resource guide has been viewed 292 times, not to mention the dozen of emails our communications coordinator receives a week, or the calls our volunteers take directly at the AHC asking for referrals to mental health care providers. As an LGBTQ+ resource center, we do everything in our power to ensure that the mental health providers we recommend provide safe, inclusive spaces for queer youth. However, this repeal would deeply impact the quality and assurance that we can provide community members when seeking mental health treatment. It would only continue the existing systemic inequities that queer youth face when entering mental health and medical facilities. I have provided each of you with a copy of our conversion therapy fact sheet, which includes statistics from the study the Trevor Project conducted in 2024 regarding LGBTQ+ youth in South Carolina. One of these substantial statistics is that 40% of LGBTQ youth in South Carolina seriously considered suicide the past year. Conversion therapy doubles the risk of suicide for those subjected to it. Ordinance 2021-021 affirms that everyone, regardless of who they are or who they love, deserves to be safe, seen, and supported. I urge you to uphold this ordinance, not only for those who live here, but for the countless others who look to Columbia as a place of refuge, care, and dignity. Please use your positions of power to ensure that the city of Columbia remains safe and does not follow the regressive legislation being passed federally.
Cora Webb. As stated, my name is Cora Webb, and I live in the 29203 area code here in Columbia. And I'm here to speak against repealing the ban on conversion therapy. I've worked with LGBTQ+ youth for 7 years now, and I am a queer person, and we don't deserve to be tortured and denied adequate care. All of this negative, vicious attention on trans people begs the question, what are the issues we are really suffering from that proposing this repeal is trying to distract everyone from solving? Eggs are $5 a cart. I can't afford to live anywhere because housing is unaffordable. We are overworked and underpaid, and there are numerous genocides happening globally. Are people being trans causing all of this? Who is really the cause of all this havoc? It's not who is being blamed and focused on in this moment. I believe being queer is a holy thing. Thank God we are able to question the lies we grow up learning about who we are and who we can be. We deserve evolution and pleasure and love just like everyone else. Lastly, for those who are against queer people, trans people, LGBT people globally, where is your sense of imagination? Isn't that a key part of childhood wonder? We are familiar with the book of fantastical drama, a book not banned in schools. A man is swallowed by a whale and lives. A man feeds the masses with one fish and a piece of bread. People are cured from leprosy by touch, and spirits inhabit inanimate objects. All of this is a part of the Bible, and we draw the lives of trans people. That should be the most imaginative that we should be. We draw the line at queer people. What we really should be doing is protecting those of us who reflect the joys of life you can have when you embrace all you are. We should keep the conversion therapy ban, and we should continue to protect LGBTQ+ students, children, and adults in our communities. Thank you. William Kuntz.
Good evening, counselors. My name is William Brendan Kuntz. I reside at 14 Paddock Place up in the northeast side of Columbia. I'm a lawyer focusing primarily in family court, and I want to talk about the children who are going to be harmed if we repeal this. Because families are going to face the same issue that my mom and I faced back when I was 12 years old. And I was struggling with these internal feelings that were not in alignment with what my family expected to come out of the garden. That was such a good description earlier. Years later, after appropriate actual therapy, here in Columbia in particular, I could have a conversation with my mother. And we were able to talk about what led her to making the decision to go into conversion therapy, to admit her son into that. And what she said was, I don't know why. I didn't know better. I didn't know. And so I want to ask in particular, since the ordinance was passed in 2021, has there been scientifically valid evidence that supports the practice of conversion therapy that would warrant a change in this city's position? Has there been evidence-based medical practices that we can rely upon to say that this would not be dangerous to these children? And the answer is a resounding no. At a time when we have lost funding through Health and Human Services for the LGBTQ youth suicide hotline, we are at a greater risk of children suffering adverse consequences. And I know this is a little strange. I'm a lawyer, so I like to talk, but I'm actually going to open up the floor. Having gone through conversion therapy myself, I can only speak from my own experience. But is there anything that any of you would like to ask me about that I can share from my own experience, that as you are wrestling with this question before you, my own experience may be helpful in coming to that decision?
Anybody have any questions? Not at this time, but I hope we can reserve the right to reach out to you.
Thank you. I do want to make one note, which is that conversion therapy is not, these days, involve electroshock therapy. It's draconian in its insidiousness because it relies upon shame and guilt to try to motivate a child to change their behavior. And shame and guilt are dangerous, dangerous things because they last far longer than just the year or the couple of months of this conversion practice. I would ask that you please do not vote to repeal the ban. Thank you.
Irene B, I'm going to say I can't pronounce the last name. Yes. I didn't want to butcher it.
Hi, my name is Irene Bearwald, and I live in Lexington, but I previously lived in Columbia. You could say that I am lucky. I am a queer woman who has been with their husband for 29 years. While my kids were in their formative years, we raised them in what was now considered to be an evangelical home. No one who knew me from that time, from when they were born until probably this year, would have been able to tell you that I was queer. When our family would go to church over those years, my first question I would ask any youth pastor was, if my kid came up to you and said, "Hey, I'm gay," what's your response? I asked this because I was well aware of the potential dangers that could come from an attempt to dictate who they are and who they would love. My kids are now 21 and 19 respectively, and not only are they proud to be queer, but I am proud of them for knowing that they are loved no matter what or who they love. I am in awe of their love and acceptance of me for who I am, and actually their forgiveness for denying that for so long. If who you could love was a choice, why in the world wouldn't we just all make the easy one? At our core, if we are just selfish and lazy, why on earth would we fight? Why would it matter? If loving the person of your choosing became a questionable life choice within society, would you think that any amount of therapy would prevent you from loving that person? Conversion therapies are a product of a religion who is literally instructed to do these two things above anything else. Matthew 22:36, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first great and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And the law and the prophets all hang on these two commandments. If an agenda being pushed goes against either of those two commandments, they are not from God, but from the fear of people who are afraid of losing their power and status within society." And just so you know, back during the 20th century in the good old days, Conversion therapy began in 1909, and they would actually remove the testicles from homosexual men and replace them with the heterosexual testicles. They would treat it with electroshock therapy. They would perform lobotomies just because someone didn't love someone who was societally acceptable during that time. During that time, a white person couldn't marry a black person. In Germany, a German couldn't marry a Jew. I mean, these are all just society mores that change with time. I don't understand. I just don't. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Vicky Ringer. Okay. Jack Bradshaw.
She's coming.
Oh,
She's coming.
I'm sorry.
She just had to get there.
No problem.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I'm Vicki Ringer. I am the director of Planned Parenthood South Atlantic, which is located in the city of Columbia on right off Forest Drive. I would urge you, if you don't know what conversion therapy is, Google it. That was a shock even to me. You will see page and page of words that say dangerous, discredited, harmful, torture, suicide-inducing. I went down pages and pages and could not find a single page that says, this is a good thing to do. It's not. Every single medical association opposes this because, as this doctor said, it's not therapy. We have seen firsthand the harm that it does for people in our community. Matt Butler said it best, but I can only repeat. Alan Wilson and Josh Kimbrell are running for governor, and they think bullying marginalized people is good, that it wins them MAGA votes. And we've seen it time and time again. Just as the orthopedic surgeon is an expert on gynecology, psychiatry, pediatrics, he shows up to the State House to testify on all of that too. These people are not experts. They're just running for higher office. In the words of Timothy Snyder in the book on tyranny, do not comply in advance. This issue is pending right now before the U.S. Supreme Court. The budget is still pending. Let these people take you to court. I believe that we could have a line out the door of attorneys willing to represent the city of Columbia against the state because it's wrong, and we know that. They claim it's a freedom of speech issue. It is not. And I would urge you not to repeal this. There are 36 states that have some level of ban on conversion therapy. 14 protect none of their children. Don't be part of the 14. Be part of the 36, and let's keep the kids in this state safe. Thank you.
Jack Bradshaw.
Yeah, let's try to call two at a time so that we can, because I know we had, I think, 3 pages worth of folks.
We're on the 3rd page now.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, sir, it's your time, sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. My name is Jack. I work with Dylan and SC.
Jack, do you mind pulling the mic so everybody can, just so everybody can hear you? Just speak right into it. Thank you.
My name is Jack. I work with Dylan under SC Pride, and I'm here today not just as a resident in Columbia, but as someone who cares deeply about protecting the lives and dignity of LGBTQ youth in our community. In 2021, this council passed a ban on conversion therapy for minors, an abusive, discredited practice condemned by every major medical and psychological organization in the country. That ordinance wasn't just generosity, it was the bare minimum. A step towards recognizing that no child should grow up being told that who they are is wrong, broken, or sinful. Now, Attorney General Alan Wilson wants to tear down even that basic protection. He claims the ban violates religious liberty, but let's be honest, this isn't about freedom, it's about control. This is a political move, plain and simple. Just like Nancy Mace manufactures outrage about LGBTQ rights to boost her profile, Wilson is using queer and trans youth as a stepping stone for his own ambitions, likely laying the groundwork for a run for governor. His letter tries to rebrand conversion therapy as harmless, faith-based counseling, but we know better. Conversion therapy isn't just talk therapy. It's a calculated effort to coerce identity change, often through shame, fear, and manipulation. The results are devastating: higher rates of depression, anxiety, suicide. That's not care, that's cruelty. Religious freedom does not include the right to harm children. Wilson also tries to confuse the issue by bringing up gender-affirming care, something completely unrelated to this ordinance. Columbia's ban doesn't force anyone to transition. It prevents licensed professionals from trying to fix a child for being gay or trans. That's it. Let me be clear. Protecting children from harm should not be a partisan issue. It should be a moral one. Repealing this ordinance now just to score political points would send a message that bigotry is louder than truth and that political ambition matters more than our youth's safety. We cannot allow that. Columbia has a choice: either bend to pressure and roll back protections, or show some backbone and refuse to be bullied into tolerating abuse. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Next up would be the second Julia Smith and then Kelly Kennedy.
The second Julia Smith? Do we have a second Julia Smith? No. Okay. Who was next?
Kelly Kennedy.
Hello, my name is Kelly Kennedy. I am a resident of Keenan Terrace on Abingdon Road in Columbia. I'm going to speak very briefly because there's many voices that need to be heard today, but I just want to add my voice to the resounding rejection of the repeal by the city, and to ask you to stand for the safety of Columbia children, for the well-being of Columbia families, and for local governance, and to stand against charlatanry in our city and child abuse in our city. So please reject the repeal and keep the ordinance in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Tracy Waters and Jessica Thomas.
Miss Waters? There she is.
Hi, I'm Tracy Waters. I did not prepare anything. I was
That's
not planning
okay.
to speak. I am a licensed clinical social worker practicing over 25 years. Most of my work has been with youth aging in ranges from 3 to college when I worked at a HBCU, and my work was as a therapist. And I have to say that working with a lot of kids who had not come out yet or were LGBTQIA, I saw a lot of kids cutting themselves, threatening suicide, overdosing, taking their lunches in the bathrooms because they had social anxiety. I worked with a kid who wouldn't talk to anybody except their mother, not even their father. This is a very personal and very important issue to me. This is a very dangerous and threatening thing you're considering. And I hope that you understand how harmful it is to children. I don't think you do if you haven't sat across from a child who is so vulnerable and so so alone and unprotected over and over and over again. I really hope that you make the right decision about this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I have Jessica Thomas and then DeRay Saunders.
Jessica Thomas?
Hi, my name is Jessica Thomas. I'm from Columbia. I live in Earlwood, and my exact address is written down. I want you to imagine a young child who is just locked in their room, like that intense shame that they're probably feeling because their parents are telling them that what they are is wrong. You know, there's a much more eloquent way for me to explain that, but I feel just that in and of itself says enough for, number one, why so many people showed up today, and number two, for why you should just uphold the ban. You know, a lot of people came up here and talked about statistics and numbers, and they did an excellent job. But I'm really shocked that we're even having this debate right now, because it really is just a matter of your morals and your values, and it's clearly just wrong. Like, if you really believe that you can do something about your child's gayness, then do something else besides torture them. It's just that simple. You know, I'm really surprised that you didn't just tell Alan Wilson to meet you in the courtroom. Some argue, and all due respect, though, that is 100% respectfully, like, I don't mean to come off disrespectful. Some may argue that this is a matter of, you know, legislative rights or religious freedom, or even that it's a difficult decision, but I 100% disagree. This is not a matter of religious freedom. This is a matter, like I said, of your morality, values, and right and wrong. It's that simple. So a lot of arguments have been made about Constitution, our freedom of religion, all that good stuff. I'd like to go ahead and just reference the preamble and the fact that that prefaces the constitutional rights list. We the people, that means the power starts with us. It means the government works for the people, not the other way around, to form a more perfect union. All due respect by that, with that last part. To form a more perfect union, that means we should always be striving to do better, to be better than we were yesterday. To establish justice. How is it justice to punish children for who they are? To ensure domestic tranquility. There is no tranquility in shame. To provide for the common defense. Defend them. Defend the children. To promote the general welfare. How does trauma serve anyone's well-being? I ask you that. And to secure the blessings of liberty. Liberty includes the freedom to exist, to love, to grow into the person that you are meant to be. And I want to leave it at that, you know. Thank you for all the work that you do. But I do just want to say that, can we tell Alan Wilson that he can come fight for it if he wants that cruelty? Please stand on the right side of history, protect our kids, keep the ban. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor, our city council members. Thank you for this very important meeting. Standing before you, my name is DeRay Saunders. I'm a 54-year-old Black trans woman from Columbia, South Carolina. As a child, I was very confused, and I was allowed to go to the mental hospital questioning my sexuality. My mother and my family wanted me to be as comfortable as I could. As a young, thin little boy, I had extremely large breasts. My estrogen and all of those things were in overdrive. I went to this mental hospital, and they did all their tests and did everything they wanted to do, only to tell my mother, there's nothing wrong with your child. He is who he is. Allow him to be who he is to be. But me, because of the cruel society that we live in, I thought I'm too feminine, I'm too much. I had my breasts removed at the age of, I want to say 13. It was probably the worst thing I could have ever done. Though I had the support and the love of my family, they, as a child, allowed me to do what they thought was best. With this particular type of therapy, it is cruel, it is inhumane. Had I had not experienced what I did from just kids, because they can be cruel, my mother said, baby, whatever you want to do, we will support you. But I, at the same time, was messed up with society. Now standing before you, I've become one of the most successful trans women in the city, going about being on national television, documentaries, awarded multiple competitions, and all I had to do was find the strength within self. So with parents that love their kids and truly love their kids, you don't change them. It's not Build-A-Bear. You cannot build a child. You birth that child and you raise them with the best morals, morality, and convictions. And when you do, I am a product of that. So I ask you to continue to keep this in place, because if they go with it, we're going to see more suicide. We're going to see more people harmed. I now volunteer at the Lutheran Reformation Church for children because I realize I need to be the change that I want to see. And the children are our future. Say what you want, feel how you will. Without them, nothing will get done, because at some point, all of us are going to die. We're going to get older. And then what happens with our future? So with that being said, please do the right thing. Stand on the right side of history. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's no one else. There's no one else signed up at this time.
Okay. With that, we will get back to our agenda.
Thank you, Council. At this time, we would like for you all to consider the consent agenda, items 6 through 12.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second for items 6 through 11. Is there any comments, changes, concerns?
6 through 12.
Hearing none, seeing none.
6 through 12. 6 through 12, yes, sir.
6 through 12, my apologies for that. So we got a motion and a second. Can we go ahead, clerk, and read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. At this time, we will begin the public hearing and first reading for zoning planning matters, and Ms. Hampton is here to assist.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Good evening. Your first item on the agenda is an annexation, future map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 421 Piney Woods Road. This is a request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban edge mixed residential and a zoning of residential mixed district.
Second.
Got a motion and a second by the district representative and the at-large. Is there anybody here to speak or for or against this annexation?
There's no one signed up to speak.
Do we have maps? Are maps going to pop up?
It's not popping up on the screen. Do we have IT here?
In progress.
You got it?
Yes, sir. No, I had it.
Here we go. There you go.
Are you seeing it yet, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. Here you go, Will. We have a motion and a second. You got any questions or concerns, Mr. Brennan? No one was here to speak for or against. Hearing that, we have a motion. Let's move forward, please.
All right.
Call the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
14 is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for a 2.16 acre portion of 2010 Bluff Road. Request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of industrial and a zoning of light industrial.
So moved.
We got a motion from Mr. Brennan. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item at this time? Mr. Ward?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Toby Ward, City of Columbia, 3012 Glenwood Place, speaking on behalf of this proposal. Thank you.
You're for it.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir. With that, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 15, an annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for 84, 92, and 94 Bluff Road. Request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban core mixed residential, and a zoning of residential two-family Mill Village District.
That is District.
Great, so moved.
We've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this? Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason Holiday with Sandlapper. I'm just here to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, sir, for being here.
This would all have to go site review, plan review, everything. This is the ground floor of this development.
He's
Is that
built
correct?
some nice houses in the College Avenues.
Perfect. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, with that, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 16, an annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for a teeny tiny .05 acre portion of east side of Bluff Road. Request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of industrial and a zoning of heavy industrial. This is our lift station and it is now adjacent because of a previous annexation.
So moved.
Got a motion. Is there a second? Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item?
There was no one signed up to speak.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 17, an annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for 100, 140, and 150 Fontaine Center Drive. It's a request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban edge mixed residential and employment campus, and a zoning of employment campus.
What number is this?
Come on,
No, that's not it.
it's coming.
What, Krista, what number is this?
This is
Here we are. It's coming.
17.
17's not, okay. She was showing Bluff Road.
It's just taking a minute for this, for the remote. There. No,
No, that's Bluff, isn't it?
That was the one.
it's moving.
Yeah, that's mine, yeah.
That's what he was here for.
Yeah, no. No, that's Bluff Road
Yeah,
showing.
I'm trying to get there, pardon me. It may be that it's, there we are, but it appears the map is,
It's not Fontaine, though.
Fontaine's not in District 3.
Is this it? That's Leesburg.
no.
No.
My apologies, it looks like the map is not correct in the presentation. However, I have a map right here.
District 2. It's not popping up.
I see. I'm looking for it now.
Yeah, it's not coming up. He's gonna share the book. Somehow we got a lot of Bluff Road, but not enough Fontaine.
She can't see anything. I saw this right here.
Do you see?
I'm sorry, Ms. Hampton. I was confirming that Fontaine was in fact District 2 and not District 1.
All right.
Pass that on.
You want to see it?
Yeah. Again, my apologies for that omission.
Mr. McDowell, District 2?
So move.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item? Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm Jen Wilkinson. I'm the developer. I live at 1121 Park West Boulevard in Mount Pleasant, and I'm here for any questions you may have on this. So is the landowner representative.
Questions for the applicant? It's your lucky day.
Sweet. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
18 is now we are moving into zoning map amendment. That is a rezoning for 3310, 3332, Unit A and B, and 1.29 acres on the southeast side of Leesburg Road. The request is to rezone the property from residential single-family large lot and small lot to neighborhood activity center corridor.
This is initiated by our staff, correct?
It is, correct. Yes, this is to bring this property more in alignment to what it was prior to when the UDO was adopted.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this change? Yes, sir. Please come to the mic. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Lawrence Davis, 3344 Leesburg Road.
Yes, sir.
I live right next door,
It's going to be right beside us.
right beside me. My house was built in the 30s. I have lived there off and on since 1957. I'll be 68 years old on my birthday. I was there when the road was nothing but a 2-lane
That was a while
blacktop
ago.
years ago. Now you're going to make it 4. It's been a mess in front of my house since I don't know how long.
You can hardly get in and out of the yard now.
Y'all talking about making an activity center? Y'all getting ready to open up a can of worms. You're gonna have the same thing over here you got in Blythewood. And I don't want to be a part of it. If y'all want to do this, annex it, make it to an activity center, that's fine. But all I ask is one question, one thing. Pay me fair market value for mine, and I'll be 68 years old and I can go start over somewhere else.
Ms. Hampton, can you talk about what's allowed in that rezoning? Because part of it, what I'm reading here is small family residential, and you're going to move it to activity center, meaning what exactly? If you could share that if you mind letting her get on the mic, just so we can get it on the record. Thank you so much, sir.
Certainly, and I do want to clarify that this was zoned commercial up until 2021.
Okay.
When it was zoned residential during the citywide rezoning.
Right.
It
That's
most
part of
likely
our-
should have been commercial. So so the folks who own the property that is now residential had a commercial enterprise there and want to continue it. So this is really, it was a temporary change, but it's not changing all that much. The neighborhood activity center is similar to what the zoning was prior, which I believe was office and institutional. It was a commercial zoning. So a neighborhood, it's neighborhood because that's the context it's intended for. And so what is allowed there is low-level commercial uses as well as residential uses. People do get confused because of the word activity center.
Right.
It doesn't mean that there's going to be an activity center there. That is part of the zoning classification name.
We should rethink about renaming that.
Yeah, it does
Because I
get a
don't
little
think this is the
confusing,
first time that we've had to have
Seemed
the
good at the
conversation.
time. Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, this is your district.
Motion for approval.
We'll give it, and let's get some information to the folks who live next door so they know exactly
Absolutely.
what it is, because this is a mix of what I would call low impact and housing, correct? Is that, it's allowed in there as well?
Yes, yes, sir. We've got 3 different contexts. Neighborhood is the lowest level, community is the mid, and regional is the most. So this is the lowest level of this.
Will you please make sure you share that information with the folks who live next door? Mr. Brown had a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes, excuse me.
Mr. McDowell? Yes. Mayor Rickaman?
Aye, thank you.
Thank you. Number 19 is a zoning map amendment for 111-161-1718181 Pontiac Business Center Drive and 594 Spears Creek Church Road. It's a request to rezone the property from light industrial to employment campus district. So this is somewhat of a down zoning.
This is moving actually down. What is the, is there anybody here to speak for or against this item?
No.
My name's Paul.
Right here, sir, I'm sorry.
Sorry. My name's Paul Michaud. I'm with Cross Engineering Services. I'm the applicant, and I'm here to answer any specific questions you have on this.
Mr. Brown, do you have any questions for the applicant? Is there any?
Sir, do you own all the highlighted parcels here in this map?
Yes, that is correct. The two main office buildings have been subdivided out of this development already. You'll see those in the northwestern lot and then the center lot. So it's just slightly smaller than what you're seeing here.
Great, thank you. A second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Yes. Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 20 is a zoning map amendment for 1319 Caroline Road. It's a request to rezone the property from residential single-family large lot to office and institutional.
Has this been before us before?
Yes, 2015, it was proposed and it was not successful at that time.
Why was that the case? Do you remember?
Excuse me,
I
sir?
remember why in 2015 was
At the
successful?
time, the community did come out. We haven't heard from the community at this point in time. Staff did recommended denial at that time. Just, it's the council policy generally, as you can see, going down the road, that becomes residential. So this starts that erosion of the residential, so that we recommended denial because of that general council policy.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this? Yes, sir.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm
Thanks
all
for your patience.
All right. My name is Raheem Majid, and I'm the one who proposed this. So I think last time, like you said, it wasn't, but right across the street is apartment buildings. So right now it's evolving towards that. So I'm hoping it's the perfect time for you all to prove it.
And you get into the mic.
Right now across the street, they're building big apartments, and around the corner is plenty of duplexes and condos. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. But
You
back
want to
then,
change it though to office? Is that correct?
yes, the be able to build townhomes are well, it depends on what you all allow me to rezone it with. Then I'll know what I can put there.
What are you looking to do? I guess the question here.
I mean,
That's a
if I
loaded
can
question.
do row townhomes or duplexes, something of that nature.
Ms. Hampton, what would be the recommendation? Obviously, he's looking to develop it. Now, obviously, if he could do housing, that would be preferable by us, obviously, where it's located more than office.
It is. We don't look at what specific use, because once you zone to that classification, you can do anything within that use. And it is a low-level commercial. It's not as if it's going to a general commercial or something.
Why wouldn't we make it residential? I'm confused.
It is residential.
It is, but
So office and institutional would allow far more than just residential.
yeah, but couldn't you just, to secure, don't we have a zoning classification that we could give him that would solve that, or?
No, you have to be adjacent to the zoning district.
Second district, so if we change it, we have to go this route to allow him.
Yes, this is the only district available to him other than single-family residential.
I've driven down the street.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion for approval.
So we got a motion for approval. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Your final item is item 21, which is a text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance to amend standards and definitions for private dormitories to limit the permitted bedrooms located there to 4 and clarify related definitions.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
We got a second. Is anybody here to speak for or against this item?
There's no one signed up to speak.
Seeing here no one, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Yes. Mayor Rickaman?
Aye, thank you.
I'll stay, that concludes your zoning public hearing. However, I'll stay for the next item just
Okay.
because it's a continuation of a public hearing, which was a zoning map amendment for 3150 Lucius Road. And the request was to rezone the property from single-family residential, small lot, to residential mixed.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton, and I have had the opportunity to speak with the owner, and we have worked out an agreement, and he understands that I will be denying his request today, if I have a second.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Yes. Mayor Rickaman?
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Hampton.
Thank you very much.
Moving into a period of ordinances for first reading, item 23, ordinance number 2025-028, consenting to the inclusion of property in a multi-county industrial business park, Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union in Richland County. This item was endorsed by the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee.
Motion for approval.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments, changes, clarifications? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 24, ordinance number 2025-041, approving certification of site under South Carolina Code in the section as noted 126550 of the South Carolina Textiles Communities Revitalization Act for 602 Hugie Street in Richland County.
Motion for approval.
Got a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any changes, questions, concerns? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye. Item 25.
I'm sorry.
Madam City Manager.
Yes,
We're
sir.
going to have a motion to defer this item.
Okay.
Along with that deferral, I want to add to the motion, in compliance with statutory requirements to advertise a balanced budget, the City Council directs the City Manager to substitute the amount of potential lost revenue from the local government fund and any other funds to increase in a transfer from community-oriented hospitality / accommodations tax and the amount needed necessary to advertise our budget. And that's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving into a period of resolutions, item 26, resolution number R 2025-021, certifying building site as an abandoned building pursuant to the South Carolina Abandoned Buildings Revitalization Act, Title 12, Chapter 67, Section 1267-100 of the South Carolina Code of Laws as amended regarding property located at 1200 Main Street and 1202 Main Street, Units 1 and 2
Motion
in
to approve.
Columbia.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussions, clarifications? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, read the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 27, resolution number R 2025-028, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement regarding stormwater drainage pipes between Unity Land Trust LLC and the Bull Street development.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any clarifications, questions? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Appointments, item 30. Council is asked to approve the appointment of Mr. Thomas Scott. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do 29A. I forgot our additional
Yes,
item
ma'am.
per the amendment. And I'm skipping all the event resolutions, actually. Sorry. Item 28, resolution number R 2025-019, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only within the 1400 block of Main Street, the eastern half block of the 1100 block of Hampton Street, adjacent to Boyd Plaza and Boyd Plaza at the Jam Room Music Festival on Saturday, November the 8th.
Got a motion. Is there a second? Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 29, resolution number R 2025-024, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at Trail Ride Boots Party at the Mansion on Blanding at 1329 Blanding Street on Saturday, June
moved.
28, 2025.
I'm just,
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just
Hearing
clarity.
none, seeing none.
That is the
Sorry.
Trail Ride Boots Party.
I did not choose the name,
Okay.
so moved.
Second, if there's not one.
Going?
Maybe.
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 29A, resolution number R 2025-030, Jim Clyburn's, Congressman Jim Clyburn's world famous fish fry.
So moved.
Is there a motion? Mr. Bailey?
Second.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, read the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Now a period of appointments. One appointment, item 30, council is asked to approve the appointment of Mr. Thomas Scott as a part-time municipal court judge for a term of 2
So
years.
moved.
Second.
Is Judge Scott here?
Is he here? I didn't see him.
I just want to make
There he
sure.
is.
I recognize you, sir.
Almost judge, almost judge.
Almost, excuse me, I've been corrected. Almost judge. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate, thanks for willingness to serve, and we look forward to working with you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Aye. Oh, sorry. Thought you read it.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Very good. Other matters, item 31, council is asked to approve the installation of one speed hump on Corolla Avenue as requested by the Public Works Department. The request was reviewed and approved by both the Columbia Fire Department and the Columbia
So moved.
Police Department.
Second. That's my street.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussions or concerns? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
The following items, next two are also reviewed and approved by the police and fire departments. The item 32, council is asked to approve the installation of a four-way stop at Geiger Street and Marion Street within the Cottontown neighborhood as requested by the Public Works Department.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Robert, you can get that four-way stop out of your back of your car now. Get it planted.
No.
Madam Clerk, could
That
you
was
read the
just-
roll?
And they were both approved.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
And item 33, council is asked to approve the installation of 4 speed humps on Lunsford Road as requested by the Public Works Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Wow.
This must be a long road.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
City Council Committee referrals, reports, and new business. Item 34, council is asked to refer the proposed renaming of the Minority Business Advisory Council and proposed merger with the Mentor Protege Program Advisory Council to the Administrative Policy Committee as requested by City Administration. And this naming council has to do with, highlighting small businesses and their impact and really combining the work of these two groups.
Ms. Drigger says go, so we got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 35, council is asked to refer a review of the Building Board of Adjustments to the Administrative Policy Committee as requested by City Administration.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions, clarifications? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 36, council is asked to refer a quarterly update on economic development pipeline projects to the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee as requested by the Honorable Peter M. Brown.
So move.
Second.
Can I have a comment, please?
Yes, sir.
Question. You know, we look forward to these wonderful partners in economic development coming in, and I think I'd like Dr. Bustles and Councilman Brown to give some color to what exactly we're looking for from this. I know that you've been in contact with them and look forward to some good presentations.
Sure. I met with our economic development team to create a framework that I shared with you all and wanted to share with the rest of council to have more, I think, meaningful conversations about how these recurring funded partners align with council's strategic vision around economic development and quality of life. So instead of getting a very general update every year, now that we are familiar with some of the partners that we work with closely, having them really connect their goals for the upcoming fiscal year to things that City Council has expressed is a priority, whether it's beautification or a talent pipeline or, creating more density in our downtown districts. And so we have created a outline that they will follow to help kind of frame these conversations in a way that it's more of a discussion, not just a very general presentation, so that we have a better idea of what their metrics are for success, what are some areas that City Council can assist as it relates to economic development in our
Great,
city.
thank you.
Does that help you out, Mr. Brennan?
Absolutely.
Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor and Council and Mr. Brennan and Dr. Bustles, I just wanted to make a slight point of clarification. So the economic development partners do need to come back following that outline as Dr. Bustles referenced. And so that indeed is a referral that needs to sit in ED&I. Item 36, I believe, is a slightly different request from Councilman Brown about economic development pipeline projects. So they're really two separate items. We didn't really list the ED partners.
So you're saying the meeting just got a little longer, is what you're telling me?
Just making the
I think
clarification.
we were tracking based on the last meeting that we're having the partners come back, so.
Yeah, so it's in there in the committee. And
Great.
then in addition to that, the economic development pipeline projects referral. I don't know if you need to say anything about that, Mr. Brown.
I think it's pretty similar. It's a similar type thing, but what we've got so many economic development projects coming online in Columbia, and what we want to do is develop a sustainable economic development pipeline that deals with different stages of the economic development process and try to look at how the future of economic development will be in Columbia and really more of a sustainable long-term development plan and really look at how Columbia will look 5 to 10 years from now.
Thank you, sir. Item 36 is also approved. I don't know that you all
We're
need
going to need to
want to get
redo
another.
it based on
Okay.
things. So can I have a motion for item 36, please?
Okay.
So move.
Second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes, again.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
And so, Madam Assistant Clerk, the ED partner presentations is in as a formal motion as well, prior to that one. Item 37, council is asked to refer an update from Scout Motors to the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee as requested by the Honorable Peter M. Brown.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Looking forward to that one, Peter.
Same.
Well, and I guess I just had a quick question. Is the update just going to be to the committee members, or would full council be able to participate
You can
in
always
that
attend,
update?
Tina. You know we got a chair for you.
I just wanted to throw that out. I didn't know if we wanted to do it maybe in a work session, or just want to make sure everyone is able to come.
I'm happy to accommodate anybody else on council and others.
Can't sit at the big table, though.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Madam City Manager.
We have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 38, council is asked to refer periodic reporting of economic development conferences and recruitment trips to the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee as requested by the Honorable Oddity Bustles.
And I just want to update that language a little bit. Council is asked to refer updates on economic development conferences and recruitment approaches. So, for example, there's a really cool approach this past weekend that I learned about where we had a booth at a conference and we leaned into the soda city part of our name and had a soda stand to help get people excited about coming to learn about what Columbia has to offer. I think that examples like that, having consistent reporting so that council is aware and can also serve as ambassadors is what I'm looking for. So I'll make a motion to approve.
It's got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 39, council is asked to refer an update on city-owned parcels and affordable housing projects to the Community Development Committee as requested by the Honorable Tina N. Herbert.
So moved.
We got a motion. Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Mayor, I was
Roll.
just going to make a couple of just
Yes,
one
please.
sentence, just to explain
Now
what
you
it
have
is.
to do at least two.
Just to explain, we started out with trying to develop a real estate plan and how we're going to use our city-owned property. And I think we want to start getting regular updates to see where we are in that progress.
And I think it'd be good to share that as well,
Yes.
because we have made some incredible strides and been able to do some projects that even the state housing authority's been looking at, and so are other communities. So we got a lot to be proud of. So with that, Madam Clerk, you want to read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Any other referrals, reports, or new business?
Anybody have anything else they need to refer or share? No, ma'am?
Okay. Another public input period here. Individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address city council. Items requiring a public hearing cannot be addressed at this time.
Have anybody signed up at this point?
I believe he's left, but Mr. Lee Carroll was signed up for that portion.
I think Lee's gone.
Okay. I have Juliet Mueller,
Not here. No, Julia.
then there was Raphael Floyd.
Yeah, right here, Mr. Floyd. Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing? I was like to talk about a problem we having down there, setting your court dates. I've been 4 or 5 times. My address had changed, so I changed the court date
Yes, sir.
for the city. It's for a violation, and they seem like they can't get it right. 4 or 5 times they're going down there. 1801. You go down there to this little room, and they can't. I mean, 4 or 5 times. I got proof. They sent it to an address that they don't exist. So 4339 Jones Street. When I tell them I had the paper. Well, I got the paper. I told them to send it to 4839 Jones Street. One time, but I changed my address again. I told them to send it to 1245 Killian Loop, Columbia, South Carolina, 29203.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, because this could be a serious problem because
Were you able to get your problem resolved and you're letting us know we've got a problem there, or do we need to help you fix this issue? I'm sorry, I wasn't really clear.
but about the 5th time, they let another girl handle the address.
They get you straight?
Yeah, but
Is your address still incorrect, sir? Is your address still wrong?
No, they sending it to the right address now. I'm just saying this in the back. This could be a problem for people in the past. Missed the court date,
Right.
and then they want to, send out a bench warrant for your arrest because you didn't make your court date because they sent it to the wrong address. Address don't even exist. And I have the paperwork that he's sending it to the wrong address.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for coming up here and sharing so that we know, so we can do it. And right behind you is the chief of police, and he's going to talk to you about it so he can make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
It's not gonna take
Thank you. Because
No, thank you
need to
for
make the
letting
court
us
dates.
know.
If they got this, I can
That
get thrown
is-
out.
That's a problem we don't want to have, but thank you very much, Mr. Floyd.
Right.
He's right there behind you.
And Miss Benjamin she's over our court. She works with the court.
They're going to
So
get it
you
straight for you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I have Wei Quan Jen. They might have left already. And Lin Wang.
I think they were here earlier for the AAIP.
Mr. Fulmer.
Right?
I have Mr. Fulmer.
I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry. Y'all got to give me a break.
Say the name again.
Mr. Wade Fulmer.
I think he left.
Okay. Elaine Cooper.
Miss Cooper left. I saw her leave earlier.
And then I believe this person also told us they were leaving. Teresa Boylan.
Boykin.
She left too. All right.
And then Justice Hills.
You already spoke earlier. You want to speak again? I'm sorry?
He raised his hand earlier when he had a question, so.
Please take the podium.
Nice seeing y'all again.
It's been a while.
I know, right? It seems like I never take it off, apparently. But no, I wanted to ask council members today. I saw that, at least in the agenda today, the city is interested in trying to develop affordable housing projects and, of course, economic development. I think these are very important to a city like Columbia. We're growing fast. There's definitely needs to be some room, but on specifically the topic of apologize me, let me not get the name wrong. The economic development and, let me make sure this is the right one again. It was the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, sir.
What you call it? With economic development, I have not read the literature, and I'm pretty sure it might be espoused, but to my ignorance, could y'all please explain to me, what are the metrics of success for economic development?
On housing, jobs, I mean, that's a loaded question.
It's kind of, but, I think that's a great question. And the reason it's a great question is because traditionally, we looked at economic development as something that's separated from everything else. Economic development is quality of life.
Yes.
Period. And that's what we're promoting is the general, purposeful, strategic implementation of quality of life issues, otherwise known as economic development. So the lines aren't blurred; they're completely aligned, and that's the way it works. So it's anything from multifamily to corporate headquarters to student housing, on and on and on and on. So it's really just a broad-based development of our city, and which includes, as the mayor's been a huge proponent of, infill in the city and trying to deal with the 2,000 empty property lots that we have in Columbia, the miles and miles of paved parking lots in Columbia. So a lot of this is to develop Columbia into a real city and community that checks all the boxes, makes us a walking community, makes us more of a aligned community where we've got this connectivity and 5 Points isn't separated from the Vista, but we're all connected in a real myriad of multiple layers of economic and quality of life issues, even up to parks and places to gather and all these other things. So I think it's a great question because it's really just a change in mentality in Columbia to really bring us together and not separate us into these different communities that don't want anything to do with each other.
I do agree. That's very important. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Yes, to keep time sort of simple and short, I'm going to move on. I was going to talk about, I know I already came and talked about the repealing of the ordinance previously, but I truly believe that we should not be strong-armed by the state nor the Attorney General to repeal such an ordinance. I know it's been deferred for next meeting, right?
We don't know that at this point.
You don't know it at this point?
Right.
At this point. Well, I do believe a community-based solution is very much so needed. And I'll be willing to talk to each and every one of you council members after this, if may be, to talk about what that looks like and how we can sort of prevent, because this is just the first time that we're experiencing this, living this now, but municipal sovereignty is something that is very important for not only us as citizens, but as, of course, you as council members. So yes, please talk to me about that after, and I'm willing to, even though in my young and experienced age, help draft budgets, make a list of what is needed, what do we need to cut up on or cut down back on, tying our belts to, not necessarily need the money that they're trying to hang over our head like a carrot, for lack of a better term. And if there's any questions that y'all may have for me at this time, I'd like to know or maybe answer them.
I think we're good. Thank you for being here.
I don't think Starbucks is going to like your comment, though.
I give them enough money. They should like it, whatever I say. Thank y'all. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful one.
sir.
That is everyone.
Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, I wanted to thank our Assistant City Clerk.
One other
We do
person.
have one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Timothy
see
Webb.
anyone signed up, sorry. Okay. Yes, sir, please state your name.
Miles Madden. I own a property at 210 William Street in the Granby community. So good evening, everyone. What we'd like to do is just request a meeting with you, Mayor Rick Mann, but also you, Councilman Brennan, to talk through some of the zoning challenges that we've had with our property. So we'd like to understand when would be a good time for us to follow up with you to see if we can get that meeting scheduled.
If you'll get with Ms. Belton, she can get the calendar and find a community time that we can grab you, have that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. No, thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, sir,
City
Mr. Mayor, I just
Manager,
wanted to thank Assistant City Clerk Levany Somerville for her diligent work today. I know it was, of all the meetings, you handled it beautifully. Thank you, Levany.
Yeah, with that, I'll entertain
Mr.
a
Mayor, motion
to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. undebatable, so please read the roll, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan, sorry.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Ed. No, you absent now.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Yes.